Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a review on Parabatai Lost, the third episode of Shadowhunters Season 2. As always, I'm going to start by giving this episode a rating out of 10. For entertainment, I'd give it a solid 8, which is what I gave the last episode. I found the last episode a lot more fun, but this episode was just better in every aspect, so that's why I gave it the same rating. And for plot, I would give it a 7. Last time I gave it a 4, and the episode before that I gave it a 3. So it's improved dramatically. I don't know, I feel like they did a lot of things right in this episode. I feel like they really explained a lot of things that they hadn't been explaining before. And I feel like they kind of just tied up a lot of loose ends that was kind of created in the previous episodes. And I finally feel like this episode made sense. There weren't any really dumb side plots, and all of the main plots made sense, and they all tied in together well. And I feel like this is one of the best episodes that they've had ever. Okay, so my non-spoiler thoughts are that Alec's storyline was interesting in this episode. There was a lot of like Malik moments. They aren't like really great Malik moments. They aren't the kind of Malik moments you want, but they exist, which is nice. There's a lot about Parabatai in this episode, which you can tell by the title, which I like. I feel like they haven't been doing justice to the concept of Parabatai, which I'm glad they're finally kind of getting around to. I really liked Simon in this episode. I thought that his plot line was really good. I thought that a lot of the things that they did in this episode are stuff that I've been wishing that they would include for a really long time. I feel like this episode got a lot more accurate to the books in just a little bit. Like, they have been really outside. Like, they diverted the plot from the books a really long time ago. But this episode, I could actually point out and say, hey, look, this is what they got from the books, and this is what they changed. Well, last time it was just, or all the previous episodes, it was just everything's different and everything hurts. I thought Jace's plotline was good considering the plots he's had in the previous episodes. Plural. But yeah, as a whole, if you haven't watched this episode, I would highly recommend it. Especially if you've been watching this series and maybe stopped, or maybe for some reason you're putting off watching the episode. I would recommend you watch the episode, because if you hated all the other ones, you might like this. Okay, and this is my spoiler warning, where I tell you that if you haven't watched the episode, go watch the episode, or don't. I don't care. But I will be spoiling you, so something to keep in mind. Alright, so that cliffhanger. Alec had a nosebleed, which made Jace have a nosebleed, and Alec was dying or whatever because the Parabatai tracking thing went wrong, which I am so happy about because otherwise he just got lucky too many times. You know, he does this Parabatai tracking thing. Not Parabatai tracking like they had the last season, which was two Parabatai tracking something together because it's more powerful or whatever, but just tracking your Parabatai using the Parabatai rune or whatever. Oh god. It needed to go wrong at some point. So I'm happy that finally happened. And Clary was kidnapped by Dot and then rescued Jace while she was on the boat. Yeah, and they jumped from the boat into the water, and then you don't know what happens to them after that, which is where this episode starts. So Alec was unconscious for 99% of this episode. The Parabatai tracking thing went wrong, and the only way to save him is to get Jace to him. Clary and Jace got separated. They washed out in different parts of the shore. Yeah, you all know what happened. Yeah, I don't know, it's not that interesting. I was hoping that this whole, jumping off the boat and escaping the boat and whatever, I was hoping that plot would be, more interesting, but it really wasn't. Okay, so while Alec was unconscious, he was, reliving his Parabatai story or whatever. So the first flashback, if any of you guys have read The Infernal Devices, please tell me I'm not the only one that was so reminded of Clockwork Princess. The prologue of Clockwork Princess. I don't think they actually ever show in the books the moment where Alec and Jace first met, which is interesting, but they did it in the TV show. Jace in that flashback was interesting. He, in the books, I'm always comparing the books to the TV show. You already know this. Jace is not that honest. I'm not used to human interaction or whatever. He would have never admitted that. How can Jace be so cocky in the flashback, but totally not in the present? I don't know, I find that kind of weird. I wish he was more witty and sassy and cocky. and all these things in the present, like the actual Jace. I wish he was all these things, but instead he's just like dark and depressed and brooding, and yeah, that's just not Jace. That is not what makes Jace special. This Jace is like not special. Jace is not 4. And in the flashbacks, Alec is like really angry, but whatever, we'll move on. Oh, in that other flashback, they had like holographic demons. Remember what I was saying last episode about unrealistic sci-fi technology? That's what I mean. So, Magnus and Alec, let's talk about them. First of all, I feel like when Magnus said anything in this episode, especially in that first scene where he was like explaining what was going on to Isabel or whatever, like it sounded like he was reading lines, you know? Also, Magnus is like not sassy in the show. I already have said that I think that he's too emotional, but also he's like totally not sassy, which is unfortunate. I did like when he stood up to Jocelyn though. I just like when anyone stands up to Jocelyn. She doesn't deserve anyone's support. I really hate Jocelyn in this show. They're still making up random rules about Parabatai without really explaining Parabatai, which is annoying. Like, I don't think they really do a good job of explaining anything about Parabatai. Like, there's a lot of comparing Parabatai to brothers. Like, when you become Parabatai, you become brothers or whatever, which kind of implies that siblings can't become Parabatai, which is totally not true. Also, Parabatai are way more than brothers in Shadowhunter culture. No one is closer to you than your Parabatai. Not your siblings, not whoever you marry. Like, nobody is as close and as like sacred to you as your Parabatai. And speaking of brothers, I feel like there's really not enough of the whole like, he's my brother, she's my sister conflict, you know, of like Jace and Clary being siblings. I feel like they kind of act like they don't even care. So I hope in the next episodes there's gonna be a little bit more of like, I want to date them or whatever, you know? I have feelings for him, but he's my brother. Shut up, Raj. I love that. That was great. So now let's talk about Jace's storyline. I'm really happy that the wolves came after Jace because it would not have made any sense otherwise. To let the white-haired wolf's death, what's her name? Gretel or something? To let her death just go, you know? I'm glad that came at some price. Oh, I got really excited when I saw Maya in the bar scene because I thought we were actually gonna have like the exact scene from the books, which is not what happened. A similar scene happened in City of Ashes, but it wasn't exactly this, but I am happy that they're getting closer, you know? Like, I don't think they've had a single scene from the books since, like, the first episode. I mean, Maya didn't work at the bar, for one. She was just a customer, but that's fine. I'll let that slide. But they did not explain her backstory. One of the strongest parts about Maya is her backstory, so I didn't like that they didn't include it. Maybe they will in the future explain about her brother, explain about Jordan, her ex-boyfriend. I keep talking about Jordan because I love him as a character, and I've been eagerly anticipating when they're gonna introduce him in the show. But Maya's backstory gave her a reason to hate Jace in the books. I guess she has a reason to hate Jace in the TV show too, which is also a valid reason, so they make it work. But I don't really like when they don't get the characters right, which they don't. They never get the characters right. Like, Jace would never say thank you when Maya gave her like the phone to use in the bar, and Maya would never say nice to meet you, ever. She's just not that type, you know? And why didn't Jace just explain his situation to the pack? Like, maybe make it out to seem like this is urgent Shadowhunter business that's really important? That would have just been the logical thing to do. Then he could have avoided this entire bar fight. I don't know why Jace couldn't beat them at the fight. With his, like, special blood and all, he could not beat a pack of werewolves in a fight. It's also interesting how they kept following after Jace, even after Luke told them not to. Again, I feel like the wolves in this TV show, they don't obey their pack leader in the same way that they do in the book. And then they take Jace to the hospital. That scene was hilarious. For a second, it was just like a TV hospital drama. Why the hospital? I don't know, that was just kind of, I guess it's realistic, but it was kind of random. And then finally we get to see like a werewolf transformation. I'm pretty sure that must have happened sometime in the last season, but I don't remember it. It's so cheesy. And then Simon. I am so happy they're adding the mom conflict. This is a huge part of Simon's storyline in the books, and I'm so happy they're actually including it in this. I'm still waiting for that other important Simon moment to happen. Book fans, you know what I'm talking about, don't you? So does Raphael have a backstory in this TV show? In the books, his backstory is fantastic. I love it a lot. It adds so much to Raphael's character. So Raphael's backstory is kind of revealed throughout the books, but it's mainly told in the Bane Chronicles, and it's an amazing story. It's one of my favorites in that entire book, but anyway, this is not a review on the Bane Chronicles. I just feel like a lot of what Raphael was saying was just like very hypocritical. It's like, you can't see your mother because the vampires are your family now. But a lot of Raphael's backstory is about his mother and how much he loves her. So, and how even after he got turned into a vampire, he didn't want to disappoint her, let's say. So that entire time I was just yelling at Raphael through the TV, calling him a hypocrite. And why is Simon the only one in this entire TV show that has good dialogue and that's witty? Apparently Simon's mom has a drinking problem. And now that Simon went missing or whatever, she started drinking again, and then he calls Clary to come help her. I feel like Izzy would never be that understanding about Clary, like having to leave her in the middle of this crisis in the books. Then after Simon finds his mother, and after it's revealed that Raphael pretended to be his tour manager or whatever, Simon's mom invites Raphael into his house, into their house. And they kind of implied that in this world, vampires couldn't enter a house if they didn't have an invitation, which is not how it is in the books. Okay, so the cliffhanger for this episode, Jace is pardoned by the wolves or whatever. And in the flashbacks, you get to see Jace and Alex's Parabatai ceremony. They said the entire oath. Back when I first read City of Heavenly Fire, or no, I think it was Clockwork Prince or something, I memorized the entire Parabatai oath. I was just reciting it the entire time. Entreat me not to leave thee. It was really cheesy, but if you ignore the cheesiness, it's kind of a nice scene. When he stops mid-oath, I just got so angry because I'm like, come on, just say it. Or more also, just say it. He said it eventually. If aught but death part thee and me. And then Jace gets arrested, which I'm actually kind of happy about, because I feel like it's going to become a little bit more accurate to the books after this. So my predictions for the next episode. The trailer for episode 4 showed Jace in prison, and I've seen pictures and theories about those pictures that show Hodge in prison next to Jace. So Jace is gonna be imprisoned in the Bone City, the City of Bones, whatever you want to call it. And then the City of Bones is going to be attacked by Valentine. Valentine is gonna steal the Mortal Sword and try and get Jace back on his side. The Silent Brothers are all gonna die, and also Jace is going to and also I think they're gonna probably take from City of Glass and put Jace in a cell next to Hodge. I also think it's possible that Simon is gonna come out as a vampire to his mom in the next episode, and she's gonna take it bad, and because Clary told Simon to come out in this episode, Clary's gonna feel responsible. So the showrunners changed next episode, and judging by the trailer and the pictures I saw and everything, I feel like this episode and the rest of the season and maybe the rest of the show might be a little bit more accurate to the books. I don't like when they change the plot really dramatically from the books, because I feel like everything that happens in the books happens for a reason. And I feel like when they change it, they don't change it for a good reason. Despite the fact that the books are so well thought out, they kind of just like to change stuff whenever they feel like it, just for the heck of it, which I don't like. We'll see. I'll of course let you know my thoughts on the 4th episode, so please subscribe so you will be notified when I post that video. And also, click the bell if you want to get an actual notification whenever I upload that video, which should be soon. So if you like this video, you can push the thumbs up button, because you all know what happens if you don't push the thumbs up button. Yeah, neither do I, but push it anyways. I'll have all my social media links in the description down below. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Goodbye!